So today is January 11th. It's a few days after the incident in Minneapolis where Renee Good was shot by an ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, after turning around because they were blocking the road or stopping traffic. And this is shortly after she dropped her kid off to school and she was shot 3 times, or shot at 3 times and shot in the head and killed. And the murderer called her a fucking bitch after. He was ignoring several DHS protocols. For Trump supporters who don't know what DHS means, Department of Homeland Security. That is the agency, that is the department that ICE gets its funding from, if you didn't know. Because it seems like there's a lot they don't know about immigrants and immigration in this country and ICE. Like the fact that ICE doesn't have any jurisdiction over citizens. That undocumented immigrants are mostly people who came here legally, whether it's through asylum or other means, and had a lapse in documentation. Let's talk for a moment about today. I was at work all day, so I didn't go to any protests, unfortunately. There was a lot going on, and as usual, Trump supporters, right-wingers in general, I'll even go further, white supremacists, white nationalists, Christian nationalists, far right-wingers, fascists, people who want you and me deported or put in prison based on our views. The rhetoric was just, it wasn't strong enough for them. They're, this paid protester shit and all that. They don't know how to react to this because here's a good example. In 2020, when what they call race riots happened over George Floyd and countless other police shootings of unarmed black people, Ahmaud Arbery, a man in Georgia, a kid in Georgia, I should say, running through a neighborhood, jogging, was chased down by 3 white men and murdered. Or George Floyd, who was choked to death. And people got out in the streets, and some people took it even further and destroyed property. They vandalized, they burned down shit. White people on the right and centrist white people who didn't understand said the same thing then. Why don't you do it peacefully? Well, we're doing it peacefully now, and you guys are calling us anti-American. It's always this way. They don't have anything they actually fucking stand for, so they never protest. Except for the very small groups of people who protested masks and vaccine mandates during the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. They were crying they were just crying their asses off, and it really led to nothing. Meanwhile, a lot of those protests in 2020 led to reforms. Well, we're seeing the same thing today. There are many local and state legislations or legislators. Sorry, it's been a long day. That are proposing and introducing bills that would limit ICE's capacity. By that, it's not going to override federal law, but it's going to say we're not allocating any funds to police departments or programs that work with ICE. We're not going to allow police in this state or this locality to work with ICE. And I think that's pretty much what we can do right now, which is the point of this video. It's scary fucking times. I am a medical marijuana card holder. My card expires in June. I've never been anti-gun, but I can tell you right now, I'm buying a gun. I'm going to let my card expire and become a gun owner. Not so much so I can, be a domestic terrorist. I've posted something recently calling it the Schrodinger's left. I am Schrodinger's left wing. We are incredibly gay and weak, yet also domestic terrorists. Ooh. Yeah, communism. Boo. So that's kind of the point of this right now. There's not too much we can do. Even if we win in the midterms next year, we win a majority in the Senate and House, there's not much we can do, even with a super majority, unless we impeach Trump. That's not going to happen. Even with a supermajority, I see some Democrats that are just pussies that wouldn't do it, both in the House and Senate. That's kind of what I have to say right now. The misinformation is strong out there. Obviously, Renee Good didn't abuse her children. I mean, what are we talking about here? These are the same people who are like, look, she hit him with the car. No, you're not going to get 3 shots off after being hit by a vehicle. You're not going to be standing there. He would have fallen back and stumbled or something, at least a little bit. He wouldn't be walking around pacing back and forth after that either. I mean, no, we're not buying it. Sorry. This is all coming from people who voted for a pedophile 3 times too. If you're watching that and you voted for Trump, that is what you did. You voted for a pedophile once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but you voted for a pedophile. And you're still defending that shit. Go look at the Epstein files. Besides that, stay strong out there. Protest, demonstrate. Talk to people. Try not to call them fucking idiots like I do as much, or pedophiles as much, because it doesn't work. The people who are going to listen, you don't want to do that too, obviously. But also don't get too invested in these conversations, because as we've seen, these people will fucking excuse anything. If it's a left-winger getting shot, or if it's ICE or the Trump administration doing the shooting in general, they will excuse it. Just like, Ashley Babbitt. Even though Trump was still president, they had a problem with that, and they didn't say anything about Trump. It's weird times. These last 10 years have been very weird, and I don't think they're going to get any better anytime soon. Like I said, what we can do is just keep the conversations going, keep putting the facts and data out there. Here's one for you. It was 170 in October. It's probably over 200 at this point, but in October, ProPublica reported over 170 citizens being detained by ICE. Many of those people were able to prove citizenship like that. Birth certificates, social security numbers, real ID. So, yeah, keep throwing facts at them like that. Talk about the documented immigrants with no criminal background that make up the majority of the deportations and arrests and detainments by ICE. Talk about all the hard workers, all the citizens that have been detained. Talk about all the torture and rape in these facilities. Talk about CECOT, CECOT, the prison in El Salvador that is basically a concentration camp. It is a concentration camp. We have also turned Guantanamo Bay into a concentration camp for undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants. That is what's going on in this country right now. And to end it on a somber note, because I've laughed a few times throughout this video, to end it on a pretty fucking depressing note, this is where we're at in America. I thought about this on the way to work, and I started to tear up about it, and I might a little while I speak about it again. I don't have kids. I don't have children. I have a cousin who has a kid. I have friends who have kids. But think about how hard it is for Renee Good's widow and for Renee Good's mom to tell her grandson, and the other children why mom's not coming home that day. You don't have to fucking agree with anything I'm saying right now, but think about that. Now, think about what the ICE agent could have done differently by following protocols like not standing in front of a fucking moving vehicle, not recording on your phone, not shooting at a moving vehicle. They could have caught up to her later. She very clearly wasn't a threat. She even said, "I'm not mad at you, dude," right before that. Have a good night.